It's only within the last 200 years that we humans have developed the capacity for destroying the whole Earth. And perhaps in Korea, you're also worried about population decreasing. I think that you should be really happy. No, we are not heading for one. We are already in a mass extinction. We will run out of things and we will go over the cliff within 50 years.
오늘 인터뷰의 주인공이 사는 곳입니다. 저기 제레드 다이아몬드 교수가 걸어오네요. 꽃과 새에 대한 사랑이 남다른 분이죠. 뉴기니라는 깊은 오지를 찾은 이유도 새를 보기 위해서였다고 합니다. 그곳에서의 경험은 교수에게 또 다른 문을 열어주었죠. 새보다 더 빠져들었던 주제. 그것은 문명 발전의 불평등이었습니다. 교수는 그 장구한 역사를 책으로 써내죠. 바로 총균새입니다. 퓰리처상을 수상했죠. 책은 또다시 교수를 다른 관심사로 이끕니다. 인구와 환경 문제로 말이죠. 이제 교수는 인류의 미래에 대해 이야기하고 싶은 겁니다. 그래서 첫 번째 질문은 이겁니다.
Because people have babies, and in the past, most of those babies died of diseases. But thanks to public health and antibiotics, now most of those babies survive. I just came back last month from New Guinea, from a very remote village in New Guinea, where we were the first outsiders to stay overnight in that village, but medicine had already arrived in that village. And so the women in the village, the families in that village, had 8 or 9 children. We would ask women, how many children do you have? 9 children, 1 died, but 8 children survived. That's new. In the past, most of those children would have died. So we're having an increase in population because of the wonders of modern medicine, well, particularly the wonders of public health, clean water, and antibiotics.
약 2000년 전, 그러니까 서기원년에 세계 인구는 겨우 2억 명 정도였습니다. 인구가 10억으로 늘 때까지 무려 1800년이 넘는 시간이 필요했죠. 하지만 그때를 기점으로 상황은 급변합니다. 다시 10억이 늘기까지 고작 100년이 조금 넘게 걸린 거죠. 사람들은 놀라운 속도로 지구를 채워갔습니다. 그리고 지금 지구엔 77억 명이 넘는 인류가 살고 있죠. 교수는 그 이유를 현대의학의 기적이라고 말합니다. 항생제와 깨끗한 물이 과거라면 죽었을 아이들을 모두 살린 덕분이라는 거죠. 30년 후면 그 숫자는 100억에 달할 거라고 합니다. 하지만 인류는 나름의 방식으로 문제를 해결해왔죠. 여긴 인도네시아에 있는 작은 섬입니다. 이곳은 처음엔 3헥타르, 상암 경기장 4개 정도 크기였죠. 그런데 지금은 3배나 커졌습니다. 불과 200년 만에 말이죠. 이렇게 살 곳이 부족하다 싶으면 땅도 만들어내는데 인구 문제도 해결할 수 있지 않을까요?
A way to solve this is not to try to solve the population problem by creating more land or living area. Because if you create more land or living area throughout human history, whenever you've provided the means to feed more people, that temporarily solves the population problem until those people start producing babies of their own. And so on your little island, you can reclaim land, and people will produce babies and they will fill up that land. So what are you going to do then? Reclaim more land? There's a limit how much land you can reclaim. I know that in Korea, and even more in Japan, people are worried about a decrease in population. In Japan, about a year or two ago, population stopped increasing, and the most recent Japanese census showed fewer people than the previous census. In Japan, there was a lot of worry about that. And perhaps in Korea, you're also worried about population decreasing. I think that you should be really happy that population in Korea is decreasing. That is not a problem for you. That is very fortunate for you, because the world doesn't have enough resources to feed all people. Countries like Japan with a big population that don't produce enough resources themselves need to get resources from overseas, and that causes problems.
정말 그렇습니다. 지금 우리는 거대한 공장 같은 세상에서 살고 있으니까요. 이 운동화들을 예로 들어보죠. 밑창에 들어갈 고무는 말레이시아의 숲에서, 몸체에 들어갈 가죽은 슬로바키아의 공장에서 생산됩니다. 그렇게 각지에서 가공되고 조립된 신발은 미얀마 선원들에 의해 태평양을 건너게 되는 거죠. 그런 후에야 비로소 우리가 보는 진열장 위에 놓이는 겁니다. 운동화 한 켤레를 얻는데도 지구 한 바퀴의 자원이 필요한데 핸드폰이나 컴퓨터는 더 말할 것도 없죠. 그러니 인구가 늘어 자원이 하나라도 고갈되면 공장 전체가 가동을 멈추게 될 겁니다. 이 촘촘한 자원의 연결고리 중에 어느 하나가 빠진다고 생각해 보세요. 그 분야의 산업 전체가 무너질 수도 있죠. 일본이 우리나라에 수출 규제를 한다고 하면 미국 기업이 나서서 우려를 나타내는 것도 바로 이런 이유에서죠.
In the past, before globalization, societies around the world were substantially isolated from each other. For example, a famous example is Easter Island in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Chile, 2,500 miles off the coast of Chile. Easter Island, the people on Easter Island chopped down all their trees. That caused big problems. The society collapsed in warfare. But nobody in the world knew about it because Easter Island was isolated. In the past, when the Maya civilization, the most advanced civilization of Native Americans in the New World, collapsed, nobody in Europe, in the Old World, knew about it. Even in the Valley of Mexico, people didn't know about it because that was in the past when people didn't move around very much. But today, people do move around a lot. This is what we call globalization. Everywhere in the world, people move around. In this remote village that I was visiting in New Guinea last month, people in the village had visited the coast. In the past, there would have been not a single person from that village who had ever visited the coast. Because of globalization, the problems of any island, the problems of any country have the potential for becoming problems of the world.
사실 한국은 세계화를 미세먼지로 체감하고 있습니다. 언젠가부터 마스크는 필수품이 돼버렸죠. 경보 발령이 있는 날이면 흑백 TV 안에 있는 것처럼 온 도시가 회색으로 변하니까요. 세계보건기구에서도 미세먼지로 조기 사망한 사람의 수가 흡연 사망자보다 훨씬 많다고 합니다. 세계화가 특히 환경 문제에서 위력을 발휘하는 거죠. 물론 한국에서 배출되는 먼지양도 많을 겁니다. 하지만 바람의 방향이 조금만 서풍으로 바뀌어도 온 나라가 새까맣게 먼지를 뒤집어 쓰죠. 이러니 미세먼지로 세계화를 절감하게 되는 겁니다. 물 문제만 해도 그렇죠. 한국은 사실 90년대부터 물 스트레스 국가였습니다. 사용할 수 있는 물의 양이 인당 1000세제곱미터 미만이면 물 기근 국가, 1700 이상이면 물 풍요 국가로 분류되는데 우리는 그 중간인 물 스트레스 국가에 들어가죠. 아무리 삼면이 바다로 둘러싸여 있어도 정작 쓸 물은 충분치 않다는 뜻입니다. 인구 문제와 세계화를 생각하면 억울할 수도 있습니다. 우리는 인구 감소를 걱정하는데 세계 인구가 늘어 생기는 문제는 함께 겪어야 하니까요. 하지만 한국의 이산화탄소 배출량은 세계 9위입니다. 우리처럼 자원을 쓰면 지구가 4개 정도는 필요하다고 하죠. 이러다 온 인류가 대멸종을 향해 가는 건 아닐지 모르겠습니다.
No, we are not heading for one. We are already in a mass extinction. The mass extinction caused by humans began about 50,000 years ago when humans settled Australia for the first time. And so Australian animals, big animals who had never encountered humans, and very quickly Australia's giant animals became extinct. Giant kangaroos, giant crocodiles, giant snakes. That was 50,000 years ago. Then about 13,000 years ago, humans arrived in North America and South America for the first time, and again there was a mass extinction. Here we are in the United States, in California. If you and I could have gone outdoors here 13,000 years ago, we would have seen, here in Los Angeles, elephants, we would have seen lions, we would have seen cheetahs, we would have seen giant ground sloths, but they're gone. That was a mass extinction of 13,000 years ago in North America and South America. There were other mass extinctions in New Zealand and Madagascar. So my only disagreement with the concept that we are going into a mass extinction, no, we're not going into a mass extinction. We are already in a mass extinction.
인류가 도래하기 전 지구에선 무려 5번이나 대부분의 생명체가 전멸한 사건이 있었습니다. 이를 5대 대멸종이라고 하죠. 그 첫 번째가 고생대 오르도비스기 대멸종. 빙하기 때문에 일어났을 거라고 추측하죠. 두 번째는 대본기 대멸종. 생명체의 70%가 사라집니다. 하지만 더 큰 규모의 멸종이 바로 세 번째, 페름기에 일어납니다. 대부분의 생명체가 전멸했다고 보면 되죠. 네 번째는 중생대 트라이아스기. 거의 모든 파충류가 사라집니다. 그리고 우리가 잘 아는 중생대 백악기. 공룡의 대멸종이 있었죠. 육지공룡, 해양공룡, 하늘을 나는 공룡까지. 대부분의 거대 동물들이 6,600만 년 전 이 시기에 사라집니다. 수많은 식물종과 함께 말이죠. 화산 폭발과 운석 충돌을 가장 유력한 원인으로 보고 있습니다. 그러나 소수의 포유류는 이 아비규환 속에서도 살아남습니다. 그중 일부가 먼 훗날 우리의 조상으로 진화하게 되죠. 교수는 그렇게 살아남은 우리가 백악기의 뒤를 잇는 대멸종에 있다고 하는 겁니다. 빙하기도 소행성도 아닌 우리 자신이 그 멸종의 원인이고요. 학자들은 벌써 이 6번째 대멸종의 이름도 지었죠. 바로 뒤에서 이야기하게 될 인류세입니다. 사실 교수님은 문명의 붕괴라는 책에서 우리 인류에겐 50년밖에 남지 않았다고 했습니다. 물론 여러 환경 문제가 있긴 하지만 그래도 50년은 너무 빠른 것 아닌가요? 우리가 500만 년을 넘게 써온 땅이잖아요.
Why do I say that we have 50 years, we humans have 50 years to solve our problems? It's because many things are going on now. Presently, the world is on an unsustainable course. We're using water, we're using soil, we're using fish, we're using forests more rapidly than they are being replenished. And at the rate that we are using things up, we're going to run out of many major things within the next few decades, which means that either within the next 50 years or less, we change the world economy to become sustainable, or we will run out of things and we will go over the cliff within 50 years. And I will not live to see the answer, but my sons will live to see the answer.
교수님이 너무 비관적인 건 아닌가요?
No, I'm not pessimistic. I would say cautiously optimistic. By cautiously optimistic, I mean that I recognize that we have problems, but it's possible that we would solve our problems. Our problems are ones that we are causing. Our main problem is not that there is an asteroid hurtling to the Earth and there's nothing we can do about it. It's that our problems are ones that we are causing.
그렇다면 이 질문을 드리지 않을 수가 없습니다. 우리는 대체 왜 이런 문제들을 만드는 걸까요? 나무는 마지막 한 그루까지 불태우고 원래 땅의 주인은 죽이거나 쫓아내버리고 또 그렇게 뺏은 땅은 쓰레기와 매연으로 못쓰게 만들고 있으니까요. 인간에겐 자연과 전쟁을 벌이는 본능이라도 있는 걸까요?
It's not that humans are intentionally making war against Mother Nature. It's that humans are the most powerful species on Earth today, and possibly the most powerful species that has ever existed. We are capable of causing big effects. We're capable of destroying forests, overfishing the ocean, changing the climate. It's not that we humans intentionally change the climate or that we intentionally cause a rise in sea level, but that we do things. And those things have consequences, consequences that we didn't expect, that we didn't intend. And so when you ask, why do humans change the world? It's not that we humans want to change the world. It's not that we humans want to change the world in bad ways, but that we are powerful and we cause big effects, and many of the effects that we cause are unintentional. That's why humans are having a big impact on the world.
이제 본격적으로 인류세를 이야기할 차례인 것 같습니다. 여긴 그린란드입니다. 북극에 있는 거대한 섬이죠. 덴마크 닐스 보어 연구팀이 중요한 얼음을 채취하고 있습니다. 우리의 공식적인 지질 시대, 홀로세를 증명해줄 코어죠. 무려 11,000년 전에 쌓인 얼음입니다. 바로 저 가운데 부분이 빙하기와 홀로세의 경계를 나타낸다고 합니다. 그리고 이제 인류가 홀로세의 뒤를 잇는 다음 시대에 진입했다고 주장하는 사람이 나오죠. 노벨상을 수상한 대기학자 폴 크리천입니다. 썩지 않는 물질이 나오고 플라스틱이 화석으로 남게 된 시대. 인간의 영향으로 여러 생물종이 순식간에 사라진 이 시대를 그는 인류세로 새롭게 명명해야 한다고 말합니다. 바로 이 순간이 인류세의 시작이라고 했죠. 학자들만의 이야기가 아닙니다. 2018년 여름을 기억하시나요? 111년 만의 폭염이었습니다. 대구, 홍천, 의성. 100년 동안 단 하루뿐이었다던 40도 이상의 날씨가 전국에서 관측됐죠. 하지만 그해 겨울, 우리는 이번엔 관측사상 가장 추운 날들을 보내게 됩니다. 여름엔 열기로 숨조차 쉬기 어려웠는데 겨울엔 차라리 냉장고 안이 더 따뜻했죠. 이렇게 예측하기 어려운 기상 변화가 인류세의 가장 큰 특징이라고 하던데 맞나요, 교수님?
There are two things to explain there. One is that there are other things going on besides climate change. And the other thing is that climate change is very complicated. Let's begin with climate change being very complicated. In the United States, we often talk about global warming rather than climate change. And it's true that on the average, the whole world is getting warmer. But it's complicated because some places are actually getting colder rather than warmer. In the United States, the southeastern United States, Alabama, Mississippi, the Carolinas, are getting a little colder rather than warmer. Europe is at risk of getting colder rather than warmer. Even in those places that are getting on the average warmer, like Los Angeles, my home, it doesn't get warmer every year step by step. We have warm years and then we have cold years. And so in the last 10 years, we have had the warmest year in recorded history in Los Angeles. We've also had the coldest year in recorded history in Los Angeles. All that makes climate change complicated, and particularly some politicians, some American politicians, when they hear about global warming, they'll say, aha, but in New York, last year we had a snowstorm in New York. There was the biggest snowstorm in the last 10 years. So that means, how can you say that there's global warming? And the answer is, yes, there was a very bad snowstorm in New York last year, but there were also very hot years, and on the average, New York is getting warmer. So that's one complication. We could also talk about the things other than climate change that are happening. Would you like me to talk about some things other than climate change?
Yes.
All right. So climate change means, on the average, that the temperature is getting warmer, and at the same time, temperatures are getting more extreme. We're getting hotter years but colder years. Climate change also means that, on the average, it's getting drier, although my city, Los Angeles, has had recently not only its driest year but also its wettest year. But there are other things besides climate change. There are changes in the ocean. The ocean is getting more acidic, and that is killing coral reefs. And sea level is rising, so parts of the world that are flat and close to sea level are at risk of being inundated by rising sea level. That includes eastern coast of the United States. It also includes much of Bangladesh. Of course, it includes the Netherlands, much of which is already under sea level. The facts are clear. The facts are that there are big changes, accelerating changes due to humans, changes in climate, mass extinction, changes in the ocean. Whether to recognize that by a name of Anthropocene, that's a matter of taste, personal choice. There's always the question of names. Should we apply a name to something?
봅니다. 먼 훗날 외계에서 누군가 이 폐허가 된 지구를 방문한다면 그는 무엇을 느낄까요? 생명이 있는 것들은 이미 오래
is due to humans. The alien might be puzzled because the alien might say, out on our planet in the Andromeda Nebula, we are smart and we don't damage our planet in the Andromeda Nebula. These humans, they have some intelligence, and so granted they're not as smart as us in the Andromeda Nebula, but why are these somewhat intelligent humans damaging the Earth? Don't they know better? But realistically, we have not been visited by intelligent beings from the Andromeda Nebula. There are a couple of reasons for that. One is that probably there is intelligent life overall in the universe because there are trillions and trillions of stars, and life probably arises easily on many planets. So the likelihood is that there is lots of intelligent life in the universe. Why then have we not been visited by intelligent creatures from the Andromeda Nebula? One reason is that it's a long way. It takes, 4 light years even to the closest star. But the other possible explanation is that those intelligent beings on the Andromeda Nebula, they're like us. They're intelligent and they're powerful and they make mistakes, and they have destroyed their own planet. Here on Earth, the Industrial Revolution began about 200 years ago. It's only within the last 200 years that we humans have developed the capacity for destroying the whole Earth. And at the rate at which we're going now, there's a good possibility that we will have destroyed the whole Earth by the year 2050. But the Industrial Revolution began around 1800. That means that on Earth it took about 250 years from the time we became powerful to the time that we're going to destroy the whole Earth, and that means no more satellites, no more probes going into space. If we humans destroyed ourselves on planet Earth in 250 years, the likelihood is that those intelligent creatures out in the Andromeda Nebula also destroy themselves in 250 years, and that intelligent creatures all over the galaxy destroy themselves rather quickly. That, I think, is a big part of the reason why we have not been visited by flying saucers. The civilizations that can build flying saucers destroy themselves too quickly. And so we have never had those extraterrestrial visitors that can ask why are those humans doing those stupid things.
이번엔 뉴기니에 대해 질문할까 합니다. 교수가 처음 뉴기니를 방문한 건 55년 전의 일입니다. 그곳은 1930년대까지 한 번도 외부에 알려진 적 없는 오지 중의 오지였죠. 백인을 처음 보고 놀란 나머지 울음을 터뜨린 원주민의 모습이라고 하네요. 만남은 양쪽 모두에게 충격적인 일이었던 거죠. 하지만 그들은 금세 서로에게 적응합니다. 그렇게 뉴기니에 머물게 된 교수는 한 원주민 청년으로부터 질문을 받게 되죠. 총균세를 쓴 계기가 된 질문이었죠. 책에는 이런 내용도 있습니다. 교수가 버섯을 따려는 원주민에게 독이 있을지 모른다고 하니 화를 내며 이렇게 말했다는군요. 독버섯을 구별하지 못할 만큼 멍청한 놈들은 미국인들 뿐이다. 라고요. 대부분의 지혜가 세대를 거듭해 내려오는 이곳에선 버섯을 구별하는 일 정도는 당연한 지식일 겁니다. 이런 곳에도 변화는 찾아올까요?
On New Guinea?
Yeah.
I first went to New Guinea in 1964. I went there because New Guinea is a big tropical island where, until recently, lots of people were living in the Stone Age, not the Anthropocene, not the late Pleistocene, but the mid-late Pleistocene, with stone tools rather than metal tools. When I went to New Guinea in 1964, some New Guineans who became my friends were still using stone tools. But in the 55 years since I first visited New Guinea, very few people are using stone tools now. I personally have never met a New Guinean who is using stone tools, although I've heard of some New Guineans that supposedly are still using stone tools. Civilization has come to New Guinea. Forestry and mining projects are widespread around New Guinea. Forests are being chopped down. It's still the case that New Guinea has more remote, undamaged areas than any other place in the world except possibly the Amazon basin. But even in New Guinea, logging and mining projects are affecting much of the island. And that has all been happening in the 55 years that I've been visiting New Guinea.
네, 문명은 벌써 이 깊은 오지 마을에도 찾아왔습니다. 간밤에 무슨 일이 있었는지 아침이면 사람들이 다 아는 마을. 아이들 한 명 한 명을 이름으로 기억하는 이 마을에도 문명은 빠르게 스며들었습니다. 이제 아이들은 먹을 수 있는 버섯을 구별하지 못하게 될 겁니다. 석기로 된 도구도 만들지 못하겠죠. 아무리 뛰어도 문명은 피할 수 없는 변화인 거죠. 그래도 교수님, 인류의 미래엔 희망이 있는 거죠?
Am I hopeful? Well, if something terrible happens to the world, and there's either a nuclear war or world civilization collapses, first world civilization collapses, if the economy of South Korea and Japan and the United States and Australia and Europe collapses, that's going to be very bad for Koreans and Japanese and Americans, because you Koreans and we Americans do not know how to make stone tools. If the world collapses, the place in the world where people will be best off will be New Guinea. And that's because in New Guinea, until recently, they were making stone tools. They still know how to make stone tools. They can live without metal tools. They can live without airplanes. They can live without ocean-going fish. They will nourish themselves the way they've been doing for the last 50,000 years. And so if there's a disaster for the whole world, the place that I would like to be is New Guinea. Do we have an ability to get out of our crisis? Of course we do. The reason that we have that ability is that our crisis is caused by us. It's not caused by an asteroid coming towards us. It's caused by us. And therefore, to solve our problems, all that we have to do is to stop causing our problems. We know how to stop causing our problems. Consume less energy, get more of our energy from renewable resources, manage our fisheries and forests sustainably. And so, yes, we could solve our problems if we chose to do so. What is lacking is the political will. And can science help us solve our problems? Yes. For example, science has been used in recent years to make solar panels, which are a cheap, renewable source of energy. That is thanks to science and technology. Science and technology have also built atomic bombs and various other bad things. So science can solve our problems. Science is also causing our problems. If one thinks, though, that our problems are going to be solved by science, no. First of all, we have to decide to solve our problems. And if we have not decided to solve our problems, then neither science nor anything else is going to solve them. It's our choice.
(50년) 후엔 물고기는커녕 산호초도 볼 수 없을지 모릅니다. 아이들은 아마 바다거북이도 모르게 되겠죠. 이산화탄소만 가득한 뜨겁고 비어있는 바다. 그곳에선 더 이상 수영을 하는 법도, 고기를 낚는 법도 알지 못하게 될 겁니다. 6,600만 년 전 그날처럼 살아있는 것들은 또다시 자취를 감추게 되겠죠. 우리의 의지가 없다면 말입니다. 다음 세대에 파란 바다를 돌려주는 일은 쉽지 않을 겁니다. 지금 누리는 많은 것들을 포기해야 하겠죠. 하지만 그곳이 우리가 가야 할 방향입니다. 느리고 힘들더라도 말이죠.
Is power good or is power bad? Power is morally neutral, meaning that power can be used for either good or bad purposes. For example, germs. Germs, we can often cure them, but germs can also be used for biological warfare. Or nuclear energy. Nuclear energy can be used as a source of energy, which may be an important source of energy in the future, or nuclear energy can also be used to kill people. So this illustrates that human power is morally neutral. Human power might make happy lives for my children and grandchildren, and human power might also destroy the world for my children and grandchildren. We don't know what will happen. That's human power.
오늘 인터뷰에서 꼭 기억해야 할 말은 이 모든 위기가 바로 우리 자신으로부터 초래됐다는 거죠. 우리가 초래했기 때문에 우리가 해결할 수 있다는 말. 희망적인 동시에 무겁게 다가옵니다. 상상도 못할 어려움과 불편함이 우리를 기다리고 있을 겁니다. 그래서 교수도 정치적인 의지가 과학기술보다 더 중요하다고 한 거겠죠. 우리도 그곳이 가야 할 방향임을 알고 있습니다. 먼 훗날 미래 세대가 발견할 인류세 코어엔 지금 우리의 노력이 선명하게 각인돼 있을 겁니다. 만년이 넘는 시간 위에 쌓인 그 얼음 조각 한가운데 말이죠.
On peut se demander si, étant donné il a fallu attendre à peu près 100 ans pour qu'on puisse essayer de comprendre les mathématiques, s'intéresse aux mathématiques.